Hello everybody, yes it's me, GhostCritic. I'm back with a comic book review video. It is Sunday. I've read my few comics that I picked up on Wednesday. If you've already watched my new comic book day video, you'll know what I picked up, and I think there were 5 titles, which is fine. It's kind of manageable for me at this time of the year because everything's very busy. I've got birthdays, it's obviously Christmas coming up, work parties and the like, so it doesn't give me a lot of time to do much of anything else. But I have managed to read my comic books, and in just a moment I'll be giving you my thoughts and opinions on them. Thank you for joining me today. Just 2 things to talk about before I do get into that. I did mention on Wednesday's video that there might not be a new comic book day video this Wednesday, and I can 100% confirm that now. It is my partner's birthday, and it would be remiss of me to wander off to the comic book store and enjoy myself when I should be paying them all my attention. So instead of a new comic book day video on Wednesday, there will be a video which I'm currently working on between doing this and comic book hauls, because I put one of those up yesterday. I hope you enjoy it, and it could be a regular kind of deal for next year, but that's up to you, and that will all be explained in Wednesday's video. And number 2, I never done this before, but he asked so nicely, and he has been a big supporter of my channel for many years. I'd just like to wish Anthony Thurman a very happy birthday. It was his birthday yesterday. I hope he's not nursing too big of a hangover this morning, and I just hope he had a great day. Happy birthday, Anthony. Thank you for being such a loyal supporter of my channel. I hope to see you in the comments for many more videos to come. Right, let's get on with some comic book reviewing, and as you all know, I rate these sort of from least liked to my pick of the week. And yes, there will probably be spoilers. I'll be talking about what's going on in the comic books, so that includes stories, characters, cliffhangers, all that good stuff. So if you've not read any of these titles yet, stop the video or fast forward it and come back so I don't spoil anything for you. Heaven forbid. Right, we're kicking off with XMen Blue, issue number 16 from Cullen Bunn, and it wasn't that this was a bad comic, it's more just of a setup to this cross-time capers storyline that Cullen Bunn has kind of pulled out of the hat. And basically it's kind of addressing the fact that we have these time-displaced teenagers, the teenage versions of our present-day X-Men in present time. And you know, if you watch Doctor Who and stuff like that, you know, these people shouldn't be able to meet, time crises and all that kind of stuff. And it looks like finally their presence in the present is causing eruptions in time, and things are going pretty bad. It's harming mentally Jean Grey and Magneto. But as I said, this is more of a setup for them to jump on this kind of time platform that Magneto has been secretly working on, and I'm sure there's going to be lots of adventures of our XMen Blue team, all the kids going to different moments probably in X-Men history, and I guess in a kind of Exiles title way, fixing things so it doesn't cause too much disruption in the future or in their present day. I'm really looking forward to this. Like I said, it might have been at the bottom of this week's pile, but it was by no means a bad read. We have the penultimate issue of this 6-issue mini-series of Lazarus X plus 66, where Greg Rucka has been taking a little bit of a detour from the main Lazarus storyline and showing us kind of little snapshots of characters that we wouldn't normally see living within this kind of post-apocalyptic world where families, affluent families run the world, or provinces of the world rather than governments, and kind of they have kind of become the new royal families. The last 4 issues I've really enjoyed. They're all kind of like different one-shot storylines. They've all been really good. I've really enjoyed them. The art has been great on them for each storyline. I just felt with this particular issue, issue 5, there was something amiss, and I don't know whether it's just because the story doesn't really have an ending like the others. It's kind of open-ended, and I'm guessing that Rucker will use what's in here to filter into his main storyline, because what we have is our main female kind of news reporter who goes out on all these kind of dangerous assignments, uncovering things that are going on in the Lazarus universe. But when she brings it back to her newsroom, obviously these are being manipulated by the families, and some news can be given out and some obviously has to be held back for the good of the people. It is kind of very reflective of today's society, where people are very kind of down on the reporting news and the journalists' kind of integrity, I guess, at times. It's kind of reflective of the real world that's going on at the moment, and fake news and all that kind of stuff to either keep the man down or bring the morale up. But there was too much missing for me, and given that, like I said, all the last few issues have been done in one, there's been pretty much a distinct beginning, middle and ending. This didn't really have an ending as such. We have our female reporter who's uncovered a kind of a big coup that's going on, but isn't able to report it, but she's pulling all these different kind of clues that she's brought together and trying to make sense of them all, and clearly kind of revealing a bigger picture that's going on in the Lazarus universe. But I mean, it was okay. It's Greg Rucka writing. He manages to, what is a very kind of text heavy, dialogue heavy book, but managed to keep the momentum going as we go through this particular issue. There's one more of this left, and then hopefully next year we'll be back to the main series, which I've missed a great deal, but this has been a nice kind of filler to keep my Lazarus addiction at bay. Okay, let's move on to the recently renumbered legacy version of Moon Knight, issue 189, written by Max Bemis, and this is the first part of Crazy Runs in the Family storyline, and finally we get some real Moon Knight action. For those of you who have picked this book up and seen the last issue, Moon Knight did not really appear in that issue. So finally we get Max Bemis' version of Moon Knight, because we know that over past volumes different writers, different creators have put their own kind of spin, their own take on the kind of multiple personality dysfunction going on in Moon Knight's head, or whoever you think is the predominant identity. And it's interesting in this issue because Max Bemis does very much pick up from the last volume, where our kind of main character, I'm trying to remember which one they really used to I think it's the Steve character that they use, the kind of affluent playboy guy, as kind of like the dominant personality. In the last volume, that he kind of came to terms with every single personality that resides in him, and they've all kind of come to an understanding as such. But what makes Max Bemis' version just a little bit different is that each personality certainly does have its own character, and there is a feeling, especially with the Jake Lockley, that they're off when they are the predominant personality, that they're off with their own kind of agenda, doing their own stuff, and all the rest of the personalities are very worried about the Jake Lockley. Jake Lockley character personality seems to be a lot more dangerous, a little bit more wilder and unpredictable than he has been in previous kind of iterations. Which is a nice little twist, that they're not necessarily all working together whenever one of them kind of pops out. But this particular story deals with this bad that's taking over people's brains and getting them to basically kill themselves. I'm trying to remember what his name was. It's here somewhere. Oh my goodness, I'm really sorry. Anyway, I'll give you a little picture of him anyway there. Yes, basically he touches people, they become crazed, they kind of have to face up to their biggest fears, the truths of the world that they don't want to face, and it basically makes them go all crazy, and Moon Knight is there to try and attempt to take him down. Obviously, all the while in the background from the last issue, we have Patient 86, I was going to say 68. Patient 86, we saw in the last issue, has basically become the avatar of the sun god Ra, and not too pleased that the fact that Khonshu is getting all the attention, and then basically he's building up to, I'm guessing, what will become the big smackdown between Khonshu and Ra, and their kind of avatars. I'm really looking forward to this. I really am enjoying Burroughs' art on this. Jason Burroughs. Someone reminded me he did the one with the text messages and they all became millionaires, and I've forgotten the name of it already. It was a Vertigo series. My brain is gone today. I'm really sorry. You probably remember what it is, and you'll let me know in the comments section. But I had a really fun time with this. I'm happy to see another variation, but keeping with the same kind of storyline that the last few at least previous creators have been using with Moon Knight, and Max Bemis has twisted a little bit but still made it very true to the character, and I just love having Moon Knight on my pull list. Now, if this had come out on any other week, more than likely this Super Sons Annual #1 would have actually been my pick of the week. It was just so much fun and just came out of nowhere, because really this isn't Super Sons, this is Super Pets, and it was just such a joy, so fun to read, and it just brought a big smile to my face that made me happy to have read it. It is bookended by Batman and Robin, but this is very much Crypto and Titus storyline. Obviously, Crypto, Superman's dog, and Titus, the kind of bat hound of Batman, and Damian as Robin's kind of pet. But Damian and John, Superboy and Robin, both get kind of bookended at the start and the end of this book, so we do get a little bit of them. Basically what is happening is pets, dogs in particular, are being dog-napped from cities and whisked away to who knows where. And while John is ready to go and find out, get clues, find out where all these are going to, they're just coming back from their latest escapade, and they're just going to have a night's rest and then go and do that. But Crypto and Titus, well, they want to get on this straight away, and so basically this is just a fun adventure story with the pets of the kind of superhero world. And it's kind of one of those books, I mean, if you've read is it Red Rover Charlie from, I think it's Avatar Press, they give their animals actual kind of, you know, human voices. We know what they're talking about. They don't bother with it in this. They are basically wow, 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 and all the way through. But it's great. It's fun. You can tell obviously exactly what's going on, what the dogs are thinking, what they're feeling. Detective Chimp gets thrown in there to bring the Super Pets team back together. We've got Flexi the plastic bird, we've got Bat Hound, which is obviously Titus, Clay Critter, Crypto, Superman's dog, Bat Cow, and Streaky, which is kind of like a super cat. And it just rides along. It's really fun. You have this strange, weird kind of villain character who thinks he's doing good in releasing all the pets because he sees humanity as enslaving them and not letting them kind of run free and just be themselves, but basically just caging them in kind of a big box, really. But it was just fun all the way, and I couldn't have asked for anything more from a Super Sons annual. It's always, I keep saying it, it's always fun, this title. It doesn't matter which kind of direction they go into. It just feels like an enjoyable book that I don't have to think too hard about and just enjoy. And that's what I did. I enjoyed it so much. But one book unfortunately just pipped it at the post. But still, if you've not picked this up and you just want something fun and entertaining to read, this is the one. Okay, on to my pick of the week, and of course it was Kill or Be Killed, issue number 14. And I know I say this all the time, but I just really can't believe how this team keep getting better and better and better with each kind of story they put out, and they are so different really from each other. They still kind of keep with that kind of pulp noir type feel, but the actual kind of genre or even time setting are so vastly different from each other. Yet the team of Brubaker, Phillips and Breitweiser, they just nail their respective jobs so well. And this issue is, it's just more of the good same. It almost feels like a wrap-up issue. I don't know if this particular book is going on hiatus again for a while, but we kind of wrapped up the whole Russian mafia storyline, really, as once again Dylan, you just don't know about him, how kind of messed up in the mind this guy really is, or is he actually an incredibly clever strategist? Because what he has essentially done is he wants to take on the head of the Russian mafia, and obviously the head boss lives in a huge mansion, grounds, security, the lot, and there would normally be no way that Dylan could get even close to him, and never mind get through the gates. So what we've seen him do in previous issues, he's kind of set this ball rolling that his kind of vigilante persona is after all their businesses, and has kind of got the word running through that he will be hitting here and there. So what the Russian mafia mob boss has done is basically sent out all his forces out, leaving him pretty much open. And this is Dylan's chance to take down the mob boss. And spoilers, he does. And you kind of get the feeling as you're going on this isn't going to stop. You know, you may have cut the head off the lion, but there are probably a lot more up and coming lions that will be there to take his place. So this isn't over by any stretch of the imagination. The battle may have been won here, but the overall war probably is only just beginning. And I think Dylan is only just realising this in this issue. You're certainly seeing a change in Dylan's personality. The more and more he kills, the more and more he strategizes, to the point where now he seems to be making more of a go of the relationship with Kira, who he's always been in love with, but his housemate asked her out before he did. His housemate is now not too pleased and is kind of setting up rules that he can't bring Kira over, and he's had enough of this. His personality is a lot more dominant than it ever was. He's not this meek and mild kind of nerdy type of character anymore who's so unsure of himself, and he puts his housemate in his place well and truly. And I just thought that was a nice development for that character, seeing how much stronger he's becoming. He may be pushing like kind of friends away by doing this, but he's becoming more of a fully realised version of himself. So when he's with his girlfriend, because that hasn't quite been established, I don't think yet, they're talking about the family history, and this is something that we've been waiting perhaps for quite some time. This idea of the demon that's been in the background, or even so much in the foreground, that is supposedly making Dylan kill people so he himself can stay alive. Dylan. And there has been kind of, Brubaker's been dropping these little nuggets of information that his father and his brothers have also dealt with mental illness before, and obviously it's the last page that just kind of, perhaps, I can't say if I'm 100% sure, but they're going through all these kind of medical papers, and Kira finds out that, you know, his brother had hallucinations, and it kind of makes sense now that perhaps, yes, the knock on the head that he probably got when he tried to kill himself right at the very beginning of this book kind of dislodged that kind of mental hallucination, seeing things deal that's going on in his family, and now he's seeing these things, so he's now seeing this demon. And right at the very end, as they're sat in the bedroom and Kira's looking around and they make this realisation, kind of Kira turns around and she has the face and the head of our demon. So have we now put paid to the idea that yes, this demon is not real, this isn't a kind of supernatural tale, and that this is actually all about mental illness? But my goodness, this book is so good. It's so well paced. It looks fantastic, from just like the kind of face talking heads deal to these great crowd spaces that Phillips and Brightweiss are both colour and draw. Like you know, got up there to the big action sequences where we've got Dylan going up against members of the mafia. Just the best book going around at the moment at Image. I love this book. I'd almost say I like this better than Deadly Class at the moment, which is something for me to say. And that's it, I'm afraid, for this week. Short set of books. I thank you for watching. Give this video a big thumbs up. Hit subscribe if you're not already. And comment down in the box down below and let me know what you've been thinking about the books that you've been collecting, or indeed what you thought of the books that I've been reading. Until next time, I don't know when, but look out for the new video on Wednesday. It'll be a surprise. Bye bye!